Senator, if I advised you to swim in a lake that I knew there to be alligators in, wouldn't you want me to tell you there were alligators in it?
So are you recommending the measles vaccine or not?
What I've said and what I said in
Doesn't sound like you are. If that's,
are you going to let me answer? Or are you going to keep interrupting?
Are you? Or are you not?
Are you going to let me answer? What I pledged before this committee during my confirmation is that I would tell the truth, that I would have radical transparency. I'm going to tell the truth about everything we know and we don't know about vaccines.
Are you recommending the measles vaccine or not?
I am not going to just tell people everything is safe and effective if I know that there's issues. I need to respect people's intelligence.
I think you're answering the question. I think you're
And
answering
the reason
the question. That's really dangerous for
Ladies and gentlemen of real America, buckle up. Because what you're about to witness is not just another fiery exchange on Capitol Hill. It's the latest chapter in the left's desperate attempt to muzzle truth-tellers, to steamroll dissent, and to silence anyone who dares step outside the corrupt DC narrative. I'm talking about the explosive showdown between Senator Chris Murphy, your classic polished career politician straight from the liberal elite factory, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a man who, whether you agree with him or not, has dared to challenge the status quo on multiple fronts. And for that, they want him silenced. Right from the start, you can feel it. RFK Jr. isn't playing the political theater game. He's addressing real concerns: censorship, government overreach, and the suppression of scientific debate. And Chris Murphy? Well, like clockwork, he jumps in and does what the left does best: interrupt, deflect, and throw tantrums when they don't like the answers. Let me say it loud and clear. Let me finish my question is liberal code for stop saying things I don't want the American people to hear. This whole exchange is a perfect snapshot of how Democrats operate today. They'll invite you to speak, they'll put on a show of hearing both sides. But the moment you start talking truth, the moment you question Big Pharma, Big Tech, or Big Government, they freak out. They try to shut you up, paint you as dangerous, and dismiss your evidence as misinformation. Sound familiar? We saw it during the pandemic. We saw it with the Hunter Biden laptop story. We saw it when parents at school board meetings were labeled domestic terrorists. And now we're seeing it again, right in front of our eyes, from the Senate floor.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Secretary Kennedy, I want to talk to you about your relationship with this committee and this Congress. I want to talk to you about the statements that you made to the chairman of this committee and to members of this committee during your confirmation hearing about vaccines. You didn't tell the truth. I find that to be really dangerous for our relationship. If I were the chairman who believes in vaccines and voted for you because he believed what you said about supporting vaccines, my head would be exploding. In the hearing, you told us, quote, "I will not work to impound, divert, or otherwise reduce any funding appropriated by Congress for the purpose of vaccination programs." That's not the truth. You've done exactly. Let me finish my question.
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said. I'm just asking you to repeat it so I can understand your question.
During the hearing, I'll repeat it. During the hearing, you said to this committee and to the Finance Committee, "I will not work to impound, divert, or otherwise reduce funding appropriated by Congress for the purpose of vaccination programs." That is not what happened. You've done the opposite. You canceled $12 billion in grants to the states, including my state, that are used to administer and track vaccines. You promised Chairman Cassidy.
When did I do that?
Madam Chair, would you allow me to finish my question?
Keep going with your question.
When did I do that?
Let me finish my question.
Accusation. Just tell me when I did it so I can understand what the question is.
You have canceled $12 billion in public health grants to states, whether you know this or not. That funding is used by the states in part to be able to administer and dispense information about vaccines. Mr. Secretary, let me give you the full panoply of
accusations,
the things you said before this committee that didn't turn out to be true. You also promised Chairman Cassidy that the FDA would not change vaccine standards from, quote, historical norms. But what happened as soon as you were sworn in? You announced new standards for vaccine approvals that you proudly referred to in your own press release as a radical departure from current practice. And experts say that that departure will delay approvals. You also said, specific to the measles vaccine, that you support the measles vaccine. But you have consistently been undermining the measles vaccine. You told the public that the vaccine wanes very quickly. You went on the Dr. Phil show and said that the measles vaccine was never fully tested for safety. You said there's fetal debris in the measles vaccine. And this morning—
All true, all true.
This morning in
Do you
front of—
want me to lie to the public?
That's not— none of that is— none of that—
Of course it's
none of that
true.
is true.
Of course it's true, Senator. Senator, begging your problem. You do not know what you're talking
Submit
about.
for the record.
Let's have a little bit of order so that you can get
Madam
your
Chair,
question
I'm
and we
speaking.
can get
I didn't
this
ask.
statement.
I didn't ask for a response yet.
I
I'd
understand
like
that.
to lay out the predicate of my question before I'm interrupted by the witness. He should
Go
have some
ahead.
respect for this committee.
Go ahead.
Just this morning in front of the House of Representatives, you also said that you, in fact, would not recommend that kids get vaccinated for measles. You said you would just lay out the pros and cons. Okay, so this is the summation of everything that you have said to compromise people's faith in the measles vaccine in particular is contrary to what you said before this committee. You said you support the measles vaccine, but then you have laid out a set of facts that are contested, and I will submit information for the record from experts who contest what you've said about the vaccine, and the result is to undermine faith in the vaccine. It's kind of like saying, listen, I think you should swim in that lake, but you know, the lake is probably toxic, and there's probably a ton of snakes and alligators in that lake, but I think you should swim in it. Nobody's gonna swim in that lake if that's what you say. And so I want you to acknowledge that when you say you support the measles vaccine and then go out and repeatedly undermine the vaccine with information that is contested by public health experts, that is not supporting the vaccine. And so I guess I have two simple questions for you. One is, can you clarify what you said in the House this morning? Are you or are you not recommending that families get their children vaccinated, or are you just giving people the pros and cons? And do you understand that when you say these things about the measles vaccine, what ends up happening is less people get the vaccine? That may be what you want, but do you understand that the result of constantly questioning the efficacy or safety of the vaccine results in less people getting the vaccine? So I don't necessarily want to spend the remaining 20 seconds in an argument over the science, but do you at least understand that that's the consequence of what you're saying? And are you actually still recommending people get the vaccine, or are you not?
Senator, if I advised you to swim in a lake that I knew there to be alligators in, wouldn't you want me to tell you there were alligators in it?
So are you recommending the measles vaccine or not?
What I've said and what I said in—
Doesn't sound like you are, if that's—
Are you gonna let me answer? Or are you gonna keep interrupting?
Are you or are you not?
Are you gonna let me answer? What I pledged before this committee during my confirmation is that I would tell the truth, that I would have radical transparency. I'm going to tell the truth about everything we know and we don't know about vaccines.
Are you recommending the measles vaccine or not?
I am not going to just tell people everything is safe and effective if I know that there's issues. I need to respect people's intelligence.
I think you're answering the question. I think you're
And the
answering the question.
reason
That's
that
really
people—
dangerous for the American public and for
We're
families.
gonna
The reason
move to
people
Senator
have
Marshall.
lost faith in this program is because they've been lied to by public officials for
Secretary
year
of Health and
after
Human
year
Services
after
is
year.
no longer recommending the measles vaccine.
Senator Marshall.
Chris Murphy had zero interest in what RFK Jr. had to say. His goal wasn't truth. It was control. He was there to virtue signal for the cameras, to paint RFK Jr. as some rogue danger to democracy because he dares to speak independently. But guess what? RFK Jr. didn't fold. He stood his ground. And that, my friends, is what courage looks like in a political world full of cowards and cronies. Notice how he stays calm, collected. He doesn't yell. He doesn't throw mud. He tries to have a serious, thoughtful conversation, but the left can't handle that. Because thoughtful conversation exposes their lies. Let's talk brass tacks. What does this fiery exchange actually tell us? The left is still terrified of free speech, especially when it challenges their corporate narrative. RFK Jr., love him or hate him, is a threat not because he's dangerous, but because he's honest. The Senate has become a stage for scripted outrage, not real debate. The Democrat machine will turn on anyone, even one of their own, if they don't fall in line. And most importantly, we the people need to support platforms, voices, and movements that fight back. I don't care if you're Republican, Independent, Libertarian. Heck, even if you're an old-school JFK Democrat. If you believe in open dialogue, medical freedom, and the right to question government, then this moment should fire you up. Because what happened in that room wasn't just an argument between two men. It was a battle between tyranny and truth. Oh no, someone's saying something that makes sense. Quick, cut him off before Americans hear it. You see, folks, this is exactly why Right View Nation exists. To push back against these bullies with ties and titles who think they know better than you do, who think the Constitution is optional, who think free speech should be filtered through their fact-checkers and friendly media buddies. But we're not playing that game. Not here. Here's the bottom line. If RFK Jr. had been a liberal darling parroting Big Pharma talking points, Murphy would have sat back and smiled. But because RFK dared to speak out, dared to question mandates, and dared to bring data to the table, he became the enemy. Let that sink in. That's why you watching right now, need to wake up and speak up. Share this. Comment below. Let your voice be heard. Because they want to intimidate people into silence, and the only way to fight back is with louder, stronger, unapologetic truth. To Chris Murphy and the Censorship Caucus, we see what you're doing, and we're not buying it. To RFK Jr., keep speaking. The American people are listening. And to all of you proud patriots out there, this is our country, this is our fight, and this is Right View Nation.